All right, Rusty, you want to lead this since Chad isn't here?
Yeah, sure. Let me make sure I actually
Just
have
kind of
the.
intro.
I'm actually streaming the right. Is this the right match? I think so.
Do the first one.
I don't even know. I don't know if the other ones. Yeah, no, this is the second one. Yeah, no. Start the stream. Do like a 5-hour after party stream of the stuff that you just watched.
Hey, people would watch it, man. It's Twitch.
What happened on the first match? Were you 303
Yeah, that was-
ahead the whole time, or what?
That was brutal.
That was a slow grind.
Steamrolled.
That's
gonna be so long, man. Can you put TeamSpeak on the stream?
TeamSpeak
So
is on
people
the stream.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I mean like the actual like.
Oh yeah. I'll add it. Since I'm doing streaming stuff and I'm kind of preoccupied, who wants to talk for a little while at least?
I'm tired, but I guess I can introduce what we're doing here.
Thanks.
We're live.
I'm good at talking
Yes,
a bunch.
we are live.
All right, I'll set you guys up, and I'm sure the banter will continue after that. So yeah, Big Money had to leave unfortunately. So what we're doing is basically having an after match kind of discussion between the two clans, their squad leaders, like what was going on, the tactics, the things that happened. Like we definitely had our theories, and we can bring a couple of those up. But I'm sure there are questions from both sides. So let the banter begin.
Well, who should
Actually-
start?
Actually,
Lead with a question and then have
Yeah.
one team answer at a
Give us
time.
some
Alright.
framing.
so here's my theory. A1 Sauce, you won the second game, and here's why. So what happened was he was out scouting. My theory is for a fob by himself. It gets called out on your on 303 comms. There's suddenly people.
I was on the
your
bus.
back flag.
Yep,
And you
that's
all
exactly what
just-
happened.
Yeah, and you all just rush there to find no one, and you search forever, and that swung the whole thing. And then you run back, and as you run back, another squad runs up again, and that decided it. So basically,
Oh
like
shit!
that one guy distracted your entire team.
Yep.
Wow.
There was one
we
point
all-
where I sent Kruger back to it. Like it was something I had in the back of my mind because I realized I was like, we had been thinking about how we were actually going to attack Northtown because nothing we seemed to be doing was working. Our squads kept getting separated and kept getting ambushed, which was very well done. You guys played the militia perfectly, in my opinion. But we kept getting separated. It just kept falling apart on us. I feel like I didn't really just calm down enough at the very beginning of the match. I was like just so worried about having all the squads set, making sure everybody was where they were, trying to not slap Techno in the face all the time because of all of this silly things he was doing. he's silly.
I can vouch. I can vouch.
Yeah. But yeah, like we got off to kind of a shaky start, and it was shaky pretty much the entire time. There were a few high moments, but it seems like it's easy to get pulled into wanting to try and like take out a fob when you've located one. And something that I stressed before, I'm just going all over the place here. All I'm going to say is something that I stressed before we started this with my squad leaders, Banshee and Bash, was we don't have to sprint around the map the entire time. We can move slowly. And there was like this right at the very end, right towards the very end, before that big ticket, like just complete loss happened. My squad started moving kind of slowly through town using the buildings and like the foliage as cover and concealment, and we were moving slowly, and like God, I can't remember his name. I think it was Corn. He was point man, and he was like just noticing targets right away. We get under fire and we take cover, we get down, we only lost maybe like Trizzy, and I think we got him back up, and we killed like 4 or 5 guys that were trying to react to us as we were moving slowly. It's really hard nowadays to force yourself to just slow down when you're so used to playing other games where it's just absolute chaos all the time. So that's something I tried to stress with my guys. And the times that we did do it, it seemed to work really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna say that. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Bash.
I was just gonna say that like the biggest defining moment for us, I think, and the reason why we lost it was actually when we took too long to form back into 2 teams. We were running 3 teams of 6, and then we did 2 or 3 teams of like a broken apart amount, and there just wasn't enough cohesion for some reason. We were somehow trying to do 2 of the same things, but not quite enough, so we weren't really taking Northtown. Not enough overlap was happening, so we made the decision. Iron Bay, he was like, you know what, we're gonna move them into 2, and that I think was the key thing that held us together. But I would just wish that we would have realized that a second earlier, because I think that would have brought us back a little bit stronger instead of being so fragmented.
One thing I will also say is, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but one
No,
thing
you're
I'll
good.
also say is that second match we rotated out a bunch of our first starters because I had like 26 guys show up tonight, and I needed, like, my hardest decision of the entire night was deciding who I was going to have play. And I had guys who said they were going to attend, but then they had work and stuff, and so like me, Bash, and Banshee kind of deliberated over this for a good like maybe 10-15 minutes after I had deliberated over it even longer than that, and we split our squads up into an 8-man team, 3 squads, 6 men, and then we had like 4 starters, like 4 like maybe varsity guys that played both matches, and then like 2 in each squad that would swap after each match. And our second match, I was meant to bring in the guys that I hadn't thought of, like to start with, like guys that maybe have been new, haven't really played with us very much, but people who are willing to participate. And you know, with the recruiting I've done, which hasn't been a lot, it's just people have been noticing us and joining. We haven't gotten a lot of time to practice, and it wasn't something that I even necessarily tried to organize practices. I mean, with like how the servers are set up right now, with how we don't necessarily have access to a lot of structure right yet. I've just been mainly using our scheduled Friday and Saturday night fights as ways for us to pub together, work together, learn how we work together in chemistry. So that second match wasn't like our starting lineup, I guess you could say. It wasn't our varsity, it was more of like our JV team. And I also think that there were some changes on the SFS squad where they're like, I think you guys changed up your approach too. And it seemed like in the beginning, like I got worried because you pushed up all the way up to the North Flag, and I was just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you guys
what am I
got there
supposed
really
to
fast.
do?
They
Yeah,
took our fucking strategy.
I was bewildered. I had no idea what to do. I'm like running around down south, like, all right. And then my 2 squads up there just get destroyed. I was just like, oh my god, bad day.
We started off very distant.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first map we played, you guys got us pinned in 2 compounds and just destroyed us. I don't know what the tickets were. We were all shocked when there was over 100 tickets left at the end. We thought we were doing better than that. And then the second round, we moved into Northtown, and then we made sure we were all spread out in different positions so we couldn't get pinned in. And then that way, any position you guys came from, you'd get called out. 3 or 4 people would move to that side while we still maintained an entire perimeter around Northtown.
That perimeter held it, man.
Dude, you guys, I wish I could have been there to listen to your squad comms.
One interjection.
They were
Lieutenant Corner?
Yeah,
Quainer.
Oh my god. Your name, I just called you LT the entire time. I couldn't say your
Yeah,
name.
that's good. That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I want to hear from Hayek, because I followed him around for quite a bit for the first and second match, and your play style was really interesting because you moved like very methodical, and I had a lot of cam footage of like if you had gone through a doorway, you would have been lit, but since you stayed there for a couple minutes and watched the doorway, you know, you survived, and a lot of that was also being situationally aware of who was behind you and who was covering, and knowing like if you weren't covered in your rear, you're not gonna just sit there and stare at a doorway. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, if that's like a specific play style or if you use that in other games, but that was really interesting to see, and it was pretty successful, I thought.
Well,
Low and steady.
yeah, that's basically when we started as the clan. We did the Call of Duty 2 and then Call of Duty World at War, and when we scrimmed in those, that was sort of the same basic idea that we all tried to get everybody to do is, you know, don't go fast, move nice, cover everywhere where you're going, stop, listen before you moved into an open area, because a lot of times you can hear somebody moving, somebody changing their magazines, that sort of thing. So
Right.
that was sort of the thing that we tried to get everybody to understand is, you know, take your time, make sure where you're going that you're covering yourself, and that's basically how I try and play.
I think that's really interesting how like you got that history of playing those games back then, and I was probably at the age where I was watching people on like Arena on G4 TV play those, and that's what got me interested in stuff like this.
Yeah, and that's kind of why we, as a clan, decided when this game came out that we wanted to get back into that type of play again, and we saw this was the only game really out there or coming about that was going to get us back into that style of play.
Well, you know what? Your presence is only making it better, man.
Right on. I think
Amen.
it's really cool that you have that kind of play style too, because I'm very jealous. I have the exact opposite. I'm very quick with my reactions.
Yeah, you run off way too much.
Yeah, but the
I
thing is,
caught
like,
you.
if I have
I do
if I have
too.
a squad that can handle it, it's awesome. Like the first match, my squad kept up with me, and I didn't have people like lagging behind. But the second match, I had a much slower group, and I didn't respond to that well enough. And so I'm definitely gonna watch yours. I learn a little bit from you.
I
Thanks,
want
sir.
to change the subject for a little bit, if that's okay.
Yeah,
So,
go
from a game designer point of view, I want to ask some questions.
Mhm.
So, obviously, Militia is a new faction, and we did a lot of overhauls. So, did it influence at all your strategy depending on what faction you were? I mean, they play pretty similar at the moment in terms of equipment.
I think
It does-
militia. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
if I can say
I think
something.
I have an advantage.
Yeah, I
Go
like
ahead.
militia
Yeah,
better
well-
too.
Let Mobius go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I'd like to know why.
We said at the start, if you got a rifleman, use the M4 because
Yep.
it definitely
Yeah,
helps
that's what we
getting
thought.
behind people.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they
this
get
is
confused.
exactly what I wanted to hear. This is like,
Like
Throws
I
the enemy off.
remember, this
Exactly.
is slightly different, but because the Russians and the militia both used AKs, one of the rounds I played today, before this, I basically got in behind an entire squad and wiped 9 people with an AK because they didn't know I was shooting them. They thought I was
Exactly.
friendly.
so I was hoping this was gonna get utilized as a legit tactic when
Yep.
when we sort of did this, and that was one of my next questions actually. Did the choice of M4, was that a conscious, or was it just like, oh, I'm better with this weapon, or is it like I can get behind enemy lines with this weapon?
It
we
was the
talked
second.
about it during halftime.
Yeah,
It was
sure.
mostly for the sound, and I think we got briefed on it on our side. Now you can ask the squad leader, like, use the M4 no matter what. All right,
That's
so we
hilarious.
used it.
I definitely also saw people picking up the saw over the RPK consciously. Is that, I assume that's the same reason.
I actually
That's-
changed the AK halfway through. I couldn't take it. I just couldn't use the 3 burst. I don't know whether I was just on single fire constantly, but it seemed to me that I was firing 1 round only, but I'm not sure.
Cool.
My only comment about that is I made sure to tell my guys to be like, okay, if you hear a shot, because what I try to do is when we're moving somewhere, I let them know, like, we're not gonna fire unless we absolutely have to. If you have a shot, call out contact and let the squad know what you're doing. Don't just start shooting and not tell us what you're shooting at. And we've already gotten to the habit where if someone just shoots, they'll be like, what are you doing? And I told them that the M4 militia has access to M4s now, so we have to be even more careful and more, aware of our surroundings. And that's from the game designer point of view. I'm assuming that's exactly why you put it in there, is to, force people to be even more aware of their surroundings and give the advantage to the team that can actually manage to foster that among their guys, whereas guys that don't pay attention will just get wiped out.
I mean, you have to play to the strength of your faction, right? And in the future, as this goes on, like, if you're gonna stand toe to toe with the U.S. in terms of raw equipment, you're gonna lose the fight. You're gonna have to so. Militia and to some degree insurgents are gonna have to use cunning as their advantage. Obviously, insurgents want to get closer.
Yeah.
Just because of the raw power of the AK and stuff but we want to make every faction play differently and not just like a reskin version. So yeah, it's definitely a conscious choice, and I was glad to see that this is actually something you guys consider as a tactic.
Yeah.
Even as some of you say, it's not your favorite weapon, but you'll use it in this incident because,
right,
like, if you're fighting Russians as militia, you're not at your guys' level, you're not gonna pick the M4 unless you're really comfortable on that weapon.
I think the militia also have a visual impact. They harder to spot than the insurgents or anything like that. So
Yeah, I mean, if we put them on Samari, they're gonna have a disadvantage in that
True,
area. So
very
it's
true.
definitely map
Map
dependent.
based, yeah.
Oh yeah.
How do you guys feel about map sizes? Because we this afternoon played the Redcoats versus well, who did they play?
Mhm.
The
Exodus.
Yeah, Exodus.
Exodus.
DK.
And you know, they were on a pretty tight map, and it was definitely a lot different in terms of like how competitive it was. And we were commenting during the stream that we were kind of like talking less, and there was still like a lot of action going on, but it was kind of a different tone. It was more like every movement that your team made was like had an absolute dead set impact on how things went for the round. But then when you're kind of in a small map, it's like, well, our whole squad got wiped, and you know we can respawn in 30 seconds. What do you guys think about that in terms of a competitive landscape? Is it cheaper to have smaller maps, or is it more fun because it's, you know, much more like CQB type stuff?
If I answer first, what I've found that I like the most, just for right now, because I understand it's very early, we don't have vehicles, we don't have there's so much that needs to be added. But something that I've liked from the beginning when I've been playing on these servers is like when it's a low pop server and we have a big place run around in, then it's just you get this feeling of they could be anywhere, and it's almost like we have to, because when you have so many people on a map that's made for like that size of that amount of people,
Right.
it's kind of like, oh well, we can pretty much assume we're going to hit contact in the next 5 seconds. But when you've got a smaller amount of people on a larger map where the map itself wasn't necessarily designed for that small amount of people, but you're still maneuvering, like some of the most competitive, if I can actually harken back to PR, I haven't played a lot of PR compared to most people in the community, but one of the most intense experiences I have ever had playing a game, either PR squad, was back in PR, and I was on the server full of it was like 6 people at most, and it was 2 fire teams of 3 guys, and the amount of tactics and the amount of trying to fool and feign a movement or trick the other guy and all of that sort of stuff just came so much more into play. It was so much more concentrated and so much more just focused, because you had to focus every single bit of your energy on what is this going to do next, because if I get shot by that guy, then that's 3 guys there and 2 guys here, and I have to wait to respawn and they can just roll through. So
Right.
it's what I like so far is I don't mind map sizes. That Logar I think was pretty cool. I enjoyed that, but I would definitely have to say having smaller amounts of team members on a map that's normally made for a larger amount has been my favorite, only because you have to focus that much more on your tactics.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
oh, go ahead. Actually, sorry.
oh well, Samari Bella, it's a new map. I mean, we won't hide it. It was released today as Falls Road. The problem is if we did the competition, I guess in Sumari Bella, I mean, we don't know the maps as well as Logars we did since the past 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So the competition was way more harder in terms of gameplay and knowing the spots and everything.
Yeah, because anyone watching this, these guys got to choose what map. We gave them free reign, and then you guys collectively chose Logar, as far as I understand.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah.
There wasn't much deliberation about it.
The thing is that with this game, I think it's incredibly important to kind of keep that scope in mind, because when you fall to too small of a map, you just become really limited in your tactics. Yeah, you can still flank and yeah, you can still maneuver, but not to the degree that I guess personally I've become accustomed to with these larger maps. I think it provides the landscape to change your tactics and do a different approach so many times that it adds, kind of like what Iron was saying, but even on a full server, even when there's people everywhere, sometimes people will group up in giant clusters or tiny little spread out things, but it's different, it's dynamic, and it keeps it engaging. But when it's really, really small, it needs to have a small amount of people if you're going to do that.
Right.
You can't have too many people populating that area.
We saw that in just the 2 matches you had, because match 1 and 2 were completely different in the way
Mhm.
your map movements were. So it applies to even you guys in just 2 matches.
True.
Now,
If I can say,
okay, sorry. I wanted to ask either Merlin or Tom a question. for the devs, when you're watching something like this, not necessarily Squad League, but like a competitive stream that we're playing, are there any things that stand out that you look at and you say, we could improve that, or I never thought about this, and since we're watching this competitive landscape, maybe something that happens, like a bug or something that isn't such a big deal, is that more pronounced because it has an impact on something, like a competitive stream like this?
Yeah, go for it,
Okay.
Tom.
Yeah, so, oh my god, there's like a billion talking points of this. Run through them real quick. So, bug fixing. Because of the first Red Coats match, we actually fixed the bug. We also kept track of it in here because there hasn't been a hot fix yet. One that would have been a hard one to reproduce with just our QA team or in a random match, but we could really pay attention to it, and the dev team was so, they were all watching. Basically while they were
awesome.
doing their stuff. So yeah, we learned a lot of things from this. Okay, so the maps weren't decided for these sizes or the ticket sizes, or the amounts. So we're definitely revising those. We're going to be releasing a couple of different variations of different ticket levels, so we can use this more comfortably. We're also, I know the mappers were definitely watching, like looking for favorite spots. I know Iron Taxi, he particularly hate when there's a favorite spot on a map. You want to make that have less of an advantage.
Right.
So I know they're glued to the screen. There's so many little things like choice of weapons, what seem to do the swing in a fight. Also just like people's tendencies, because sure, we can play the game for an hour or 2 or 3 or whatever, but we don't really gain the same idea of how the buildings and how the landscape and how the trees are directing player flow, but we gain a real good understanding of that watching this all day from above.
Right.
And I think in particular for watching League play, or for watching this kind of thing, and I'd want this to happen plenty more in the future, I think in particular, it puts more pressure on the gameplay rules, the maps, people's understanding of things than normal play would. And I think you see that too in other games where you've got professional players or league play that in general people know the maps better, they know the rules better, they know the weapons better, and they tend to expose what areas are the easiest to exploit, B, the easiest to abuse. And it's the kind of thing where us as devs, it saves us a lot of time to watch people play at that high level and see exactly where our weak points are.
Yeah, a couple of comments on top of that actually. I forgot one of them because it is like 7 a.m. here. I'm so tired.
Go ahead, Tom.
No, yeah. So one of them was, at least from like weapon design kind of and functionality view, I was of course keeping track of that. I think I saw every single variation of weapon used today, and I was assuming that I go under the assumption that all clans want to win because you want to represent and all kinds of things. So that is a cool thing to see, that one of you guys choose one weapon specifically because you're comfortable with that over another thing, or because you want to achieve something. So of course there's more of one thing than another, but I think I saw everything utilized. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's really good to see.
Yeah, and you guys are, you're playing to win, so and you're playing with communication in mind, so you're playing it as quote unquote it's intended to be played. So that also exposes stuff, as Merlin was commenting on.
I want to know if you guys got a good laugh spectating when we had that fob on that second match and we had that compound diagonally from it, and there's some sort of glitch wall there or something going in by the corrugated metal. And I think I went through with Rolly once and we got through, and then we started blocking in that compound.
It's showing it right now on the video.
Oh, they are?
Yep.
I got pause.
Yep, watch
And then when I came back out, I hit the thing and I couldn't get out of there. I actually built a ladder to try to get out. I was like, I swear I came in this way, but I blocked all the other entrances. And I'm thinking these guys must be laughing at me trying to get through the same spot.
Oh, I didn't notice that, but I did notice one thing. You could have. So just like A1 Sauce won, my theory is he won you the second game. I think you could have been the MVP of the first game if one random little thing didn't happen, and you'll see that in the video I put up.
When I was flanking around trying to find him.
You're trying to find a fob.
Yeah.
You would totally have found it. You were completely on track. One thing happened though. One of their guys accidentally spawned at main and just so happened to find you and kill you. And you were like 20 meters outside of the fob radius.
I knew it was there. I actually told somebody else. I said, they got a fob here or something nearby. I said, someone just killed me way up in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, he was not even coming from the fob. He was coming from main. But you'd almost been in the cap radius, so you would have been able to give a precise location. And that could have been, like, if you cut off reinforcements there, that could have swung, like, the whole, like, dynamic of that middle part of the map. Like,
so did they only have the one fob the whole map?
We had 3.
Think so.
You had 3. We had 2, and one in the south you never found both times.
But it was funny. It was an accident that allowed that completely random incident to happen. You'll get to watch that back.
Actually, the funny thing is, I remember the guy reporting that something when he died so fast that it spawned him at main as like a glitch or something happened.
That
He's
might
like,
have been that guy.
Yeah, and so I'm pretty sure that was him.
What was his name? Gully, maybe?
Yeah. I don't remember.
Oh, anyway. Funny moments. There was another great one. I also have that one recorded. That was on the US side, so 303rd side. There was a guy taking fire in the open, and he serpentines his way to cover.
That was me. That was serpentine. I was like, nope, not today.
And what happened is, well, you might have done this more than once. When he gets to cover, he gets shot right in the face by the guy in the AK standing in that door.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
That was a good one.
I saw that coming.
It's
I
because
was
he
like,
didn't serpentine.
Yeah, you guys had that fucking. Sorry, my language. You guys had that fob set up in that building, and you had that like roadblock set up there in that doorway, and I died 3 times in a row, and I'm just sitting there, just like, what am I doing? Why have I done this 3 times in a row? Why have I not found some other way to approach this? That's like, that right there is the one thing that drives me crazy is when you gotta tell yourself, okay, this isn't working. You have to try something else. If you don't try something else, you're gonna lose no matter what.
You really gotta have a sixth sense for it in a game like Squad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a incident where 3 of your guys were sitting right outside the fob and just kept killing us over and over again. We bled like 30 tickets just from that.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean,
Man, that
I
was
tried dropping like a couple of nades over there, but one nade hit the wall, bounced off, and hit me. So,
I'm pretty sure that was
I ended
our
up having to go
Eastern
all the way
push.
around again, and then like killed 3 guys that were still there. But yeah.
Like that push, I felt really confident after that, but then we didn't get your fob, the other one, because like we got that one, and then they were like, oh, there's another one right here. It's even closer. And we're like, oh, great.
Oh, there's actually
that first fob you took on was our only fob. And
Oh shit!
The second one was an emergency one. We had no real choice to put it down.
Hilarious.
You
So-
could have really pushed us back pretty hard then, but you didn't.
I just want to take some time to kind of like restate our intentions at Squad League. I know Money isn't here right now, and he can probably reiterate this better at a later point. But basically, our end goal, what we want to achieve, is not just matches like this with clan on clan action, but to also have statistics for those matches. Because obviously, as we're looking at these streams, we're picking up a lot about play styles, but there's even more information that we can gather. How many times you revived someone during a match, how many people you suppressed, how many times you went prone, even like all these little statistics. We think that we can gather them and display them in a coherent way where, you or your team, you could look through the stream and watch who was successful and then dive deeper into the statistics of the match and think, how can we be better or what can we change? And then down the line, start to change little stuff and really hone in. I think that's really the edge that you can get from having statistics like that. So our end goal is to have a front end on our website that kind of it's going to use an API that we're developing and it's it's still very rudimentary, and we basically only have it like storyboarded, but that's pretty much our goal, is to have that database and basically pull either logs or somehow, we're not quite sure how it's going to work out yet, but an API to snoop logs and get that information into an online database. And I just wanted to restate that just for everybody else on like the Twitch stream to know that, we're in for competitive, the sake of competitive matches, but we've got this kind of big thing in the background that we're really hoping we can get together. But for everybody on Twitch or watching this recording, this is the first weekend of Squad League, and man, guys, I don't think it could have gone any better. Like, we had some really awesome action today, some really awesome streams, and yeah, this is just so exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna paraphrase something that tonight when I had 26 people sitting in my TeamSpeak channel with me, and it was literally like what they say in PR, herding cats at times.
Yeah.
It was, I kind of talked to them about how just absolutely bewildered and proud and excited I am to be a part of this. I remember meeting Dr. Big Money and Rusty in the closed pre-alpha, and we were just playing the game together, and we just hatched these ideas. And the fact that it just so happened, like the luck, the providence involved, that Dr. Big Money has done things with Reddit in the past, and he's ran stuff like that. Rusty clearly has. Rusty and IBK both have experience in being able to do something like this. Like, this is a legitimate, serious undertaking. This isn't just some little casual,
MLG, if you will.
It just amazes me that we have come this far in such amount of time, and then I look at the 303rd and I look at SFSS and how they've gotten bigger, and then everybody else on on the clan corner at Squad League. Like, it blows my mind. And I tried to remind my guys before we started that this is just the beginning, and that these guys are solid, and that our success and their success both fuel each other, and that as long as we stick together and work together and try to make the community as best we can, then it's just the sky's the limit, basically.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's worth noting that I think Squad League is really an extension of all squad servers. I mean, if we learned anything from what the devs have been telling us and how responsive they've been with the community, it's that the community interaction is really the key thing here. And I think having a good group of people doing this is it's like a night and day difference. Like Big Money was saying today, like having clans being able to say, hey, can we borrow like a guy for a round, or like, no, we're good to go, like even though we're down 3, like having good quality athletes, esport athletes, or whatever you want to call them. Hey, if it's got a VO2 max, it's a sport, right? But being able to have like good quality guys.
Push-ups
yeah, right.
I did right before our match. I'm gonna be honest,
no, finger curls for mouse clicks. But being able to have like really, really awesome guys, I think it's an extension of Squad's public servers. Like, we're not playing this in like a totally different light. Everybody's just talking, using communication, and we're definitely practicing a little bit more. But I don't think this is anything you wouldn't see on a public squad server when you're in a squad with the right people, and I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, this pretty much exposes the beauty of what can be had when you have that sort of thing going on in this game.
Right.
With this, like, my favorite part about the spectator function right now is literally just being able to go back and look at how we approach the situation, because it's not easy from a squad leader point of view to try and rewind everybody's memories back to when we were playing and be like, do you remember when that happened? Do you remember when we went this way, when we went that way? This makes it so easy and so convenient to be like, look at what you did. Look at the way you were moving. Look at how we use the terrain. Look at how we expose ourselves on this hill rather than going around it just barely. We could have just, gone 5 feet to the right and not been exposed on this hill. just simple stuff like that is what I want to be able to bring to my community. And this is going to help me immensely in terms of just being able to practice and train. It's blowing my mind. I'm just so excited.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a little sheepish for me to admit, but once our stream went live and like 165 people immediately got on, it was kind of like a little overwhelming. Like
Yeah.
to kind of just see that get thrown into action. Like we had 0 followers when I woke up this morning, and now we have 200. And
Yeah.
and it's not like a trolling Twitch chat either. You know, it's people asking about, you know, different stuff, bugs in the game. You know, how do I do this? How can I do that? It's just been really awesome.
Hey, and let me say, you guys really inspire the development team too. You know,
Fuck yeah.
It's the kind of thing where seeing you guys come up with this stuff, organize it, you know, completely on your own, seeing all the support for it, seeing this awesomely organized match come up, we're definitely here to help you guys. We want to throw in whatever features we can do, whatever we can do to support this, kindle it, and keep it going strong into the future.
I remember sending Dr. Big Money a message. You know, we had maybe 3 people and kind of a basic forum. And I sent him a message just like, hey, just to let you know, like, I've been a part of these, like, clan things before, or these, like, ideas online. And it usually, like, just kind of doesn't pan out because people get busy and people have life and, you know, stuff like that. And I think we kind of made it past that point. But I do want to put it out there that we're interested in making this a long-term thing. And I think that means kind of, you know, drawing out some things at times. You know, maybe we don't have a match every single weekend, but when we do, it's, you know, it's the full Monty. We have 5 live streams going. You know, we've got commentating, we've got, you know, everything going at once, and keeping the quality high. It's more of a quality thing than quantity, you know.
I kind of want to interject something too, from a developer or development team point of view, because I know the entire team is behind me. Like, we're really getting down to crunch time. We're like, none of us are sleeping at the moment. We're all working ridiculous hours, even more so than before. Like, of course, like, it can be a bit tough, but I mean, stuff like this really inspires the vision we have for the game. Like, we're all pumped. Like I said, like, pretty much the entire development team, from full-time employee to like random contributor, was having this running on their second screen while they're working, if they're even working. So, and that's just so awesome. It's really awesome to see. It really is. And also, thank you to both of your clans, everyone that stepped up, and especially the 2 first clans, because we have some server issues, as everyone is aware of, but you guys were super patient and not like trolling or team killing or like flooding comms or like, that was impressive to see with herding cats.
It was still very much herding cats, but thankfully they were quiet for a little bit. Yeah. I told my guys after the day I'm taking a break from the internet because I just need a break. I haven't slept since 2 days ago or something. I'm just completely just so yeah.
By the way, new hot patch coming out in a little bit, fixing more bugs and crashes and stuff. So
yeah, so yeah, might as well. We have a bit of viewership. They can help spread the word as well. So actually, I haven't been following it a whole lot. Maybe I should let Merlin take this because I've been with you guys basically all day. But one of the things I do know is one bug that was exposed in the second round of first match. It ended kind of abruptly with the team that lost captured a flag, and that was the bug I was referring to. That was exposed by that, and that's being fixed, so you don't get punished for capturing flags. And also, there's a bunch of server related issues that hopefully should fix a bunch of crashes. Merlin, I don't know if you have anything to add, because I haven't kept up to date.
We fixed 3 crashes in this hotfix we're about to release.
Beautiful.
So it should be pretty. Every one that we've seen so far, we've now put in a fix for, and it'll be.
Super excited to have this on Steam now and not have to do individual updates.
Oh,
so that's
God.
gonna be so happy.
Yeah,
I'm
can the
so
devs
happy.
comment on that? Is it nice that you can push updates like that?
Oh my god, yes.
No, we were just masochists before. We just liked making our lives miserable.
Oh
More
man.
alpha testers.
Yeah, like just on that being on Steam, like when I got up today and just launch Steam and squad update. That's good. They're fixing something.
Mhm.
It's
Or
much
breaking stuff.
appreciated. Yeah, or breaking stuff.
Yeah.
Man, I was waiting my key all night long. I was like, oh shit, when are they gonna send my keys?
Yeah.
And just when I go to sleep at 1:30, I received my email at 1:48. I said, screw it, let's wait for tomorrow morning.
Mhm.
And man, that was quite amazing to see it on Steam. It's way more easier now. People on Steam can say, oh, what's that game? They just show it, and they're like, oh, it's quite interesting.
Check this out.
It does spread the word. Oh yeah, I'm so like, check this out. This is way more better.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think we're at 40 minutes now for the after party, so I think I'm going to wrap things up. Last thing I want to say for the squad leaders is to thank your players because it really
I was
can't
just
happen
about to
without
do
you
that.
guys. And I was very surprised with the quality, just how friendly everybody was and how flexible everybody was, even when we were having issues and stuff. We know this takes up a lot of time, pretty much an entire Saturday just to get a couple hours of gaming out. But I think that once you're at this level, you kind of realize it's not just about playing the games, but about interacting with the community and stuff like that. So just as kind of a quick wrap up, thanks everybody for playing. Oh God, this is that part with Raleigh. He's on top of the oil drum and he just wrecks everyone that comes through the door.
Yeah, that was me right there. That's when I think I kind of screamed a little bit.
Yep.
I turned my mic off and screamed a little. Oh, that's where you were, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. Oh man, I'm gonna check that spot now.
no.
God damn it.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
No, there was one part where I got a grenade in there though, and we listened to you scream. Me and Trizzy. I'm like, wait for it, and it blew up, and me and Trizzy were like, oh, because we heard you scream from dying. It's like, finally, I got him.
I want to say one last thing, and it's quite remarkable. Unless my sleep-deprived brain is completely screwing with me, we had 4 clans play today, and every single clan won a match. That was impressive in its own
Wow.
right.
That's very true.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man.
All these matches were very tight, like close in ticket value.
Keep
All
the
right.
competition up, boys.
Okay,
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, so thanks everybody again. In Twitch chat too. There's still a lot of people out there. Squad League is definitely going to be back. We're going to organize some more matches. You're going to be seeing a lot of these players again. I'm sure everybody's going to pick their favorites. I think mine is Raleigh right now, just for being on top of that oil drum and getting those kills. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming out on Twitch, and definitely look forward to more Squad League content in the future. We're gonna keep working hard, not as hard as those devs. Absolutely thank the devs and Tom and Merlin, Roy Awesome too, for coming out and helping us with the servers today. We couldn't have done that without them. So thanks guys for that. Check us out at squadleague.com. Register on the forums. We'll be organizing stuff there. And we'll be occasionally streaming public matches of Squad on our Twitch thing if you can't get enough Squad, come on guys, you can't get enough Squad, right?
No.
It's taking off, man.
Hell
taking
no,
off.
we can outtake more.
It's taking off. The rocket is in flight.
All right, well, that's going to do it for the stream, guys. Thanks for coming to the after party, and we will see you guys in the next one. Thanks, guys.